All right. How's everybody doing today? Good to be back. I've missed a few weeks from being down in Houston and being out of town doing some meetings. I just got back from the convention down in Wichita. It's good to see everybody. Sitting in the crowd looking around, seeing how many people there are up here really kind of enacts my stage fright. I've been kind of trying to think all week about what to say or how to put something together, and I just couldn't really come up with much beside that didn't seem just totally rehearsed. So I've had a lot of things going through my mind about what happened and what happened prior to me going down there and getting involved. And it happened the Monday right after the hurricane. And lately, God has blessed me with many things in my life, including my sobriety. I just celebrated a year last week. And thanks to the counsel and the spiritual guidance of Pastor Ron and Pastor Ron, has gotten me through a lot of things in the last year and a half. And to that, I'm forever grateful. And keeping me in contact with my higher power and guiding me down the path that God wants me to go is always the best way to spend my Sunday. Nothing's quite like coming here every Sunday morning. But the Monday before last, like I was saying, God has blessed me over the last year quite a bit. I got a little boat a few months back I got a heck of a deal I couldn't pass up, and for some reason I just couldn't say no. So I picked up this little boat, and I just been cruising around the lake with it with my girls, having a good time. And then that Monday after the hurricane, I heard somebody saying that the governor had released a summons to any able-bodied person with boats to come down and help. I'm like, well, I've been working out a lot, and I got a boat, so I guess that I meet the criteria. And I just got paid, so I've got no reason not to head south, so I headed south. I figured if he got the message up to me and I heard it, there was a reason that I heard it. So as soon as I got off work, I loaded up my truck, loaded up my boat, and filled up the tank and headed south. Throughout the day, I got several people that gave me little donations here and there to help with the trip, and food and gas and things like that, and I embarked out on my journey. I made Fort Worth about 2 o'clock in the morning and stopped and rested for a few hours at my family's house there. And I got up and I hit the road again about 10 o'clock on Tuesday. I made it about an hour and a half north of Houston to a little town called Centerville, Texas. And you know how they say every good adventure is not unscathed. There's always hurdles along the way. Well, wheel bearings went out of my trailer. So I don't know if anybody's familiar with Texas, but there's a well-known place down there called Woody's Smokehouse. And it's right there on the side of the highway on Centerville. So I got to experience firsthand what it's like to swap out an entire axle of a trailer in a parking lot with nothing but a socket set and a screwdriver set. Needless to say, I didn't get back on the road until the next morning. But with the help of some very charitable locals there that helped do a little fabrication work on the axle so I could get back on the road, I did get back on the road and I made it down to Houston. And all I could do on my way to Houston, at this point I'm totally confused. I know I'm on my way down here completely like a fish out of water. I have no idea where I'm going. Every number that I had that they were posting to contact for volunteers, nobody was answering because the phone systems were just so overwhelmed. I had no idea where to go, who to get with, or where to even start helping. So I just headed south and let God guide me. And as I'm coming into Houston, right before I get to Houston, there was a town called Conroe. And right about the time I hit Conroe is when I started realizing how bad the flooding was. Because Conroe is probably about 30 miles north of Houston. And the floodwater, I was hitting it before I even hit Conroe. So it came inland quite a ways. And as I'm going through Conroe and I'm praying, and it was kind of funny while I was sitting out here listening this morning to Tony playing. One of the prayers that I was saying as I was driving was, as I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil. Thy rod and thy staff comfort me. And I'd kind of say that over and over in my head, along with a few other little prayers for God to give me guidance on my journey, to show me where I needed to go, because I had no idea of where to go when I got there. My entire plan was to just go south until I found some water and some people that needed some help. So that's what I did. And as I was pulling into Houston, all the things in my life kind of came together, and I was using those instances and those moments that I have experienced and that I have seen as blessings throughout my life to guide me as part of God's direction for me. And I'm pulling in completely lost. And right there above the freeway is this great big sign. It says, Humble Addicts. Well, I guess here's my sign. So I take that exit there, and sure enough, there's a lot of water, and there's people walking up out of it and needing some help. So we drive around and find a spot to where we can get in and start helping people. And most of the area right there that I got into first off was already been pretty much evacuated. There was a few people, like elderly and things like that were held up in their houses and didn't want to leave. But for the most part, what we were doing that first afternoon when I got there was helping people get back to their houses, to get their personal effects and things, to get to a safe place to where they were going to have a roof over their head for the next 3 weeks until their house was not underwater anymore. And so the first half of my day that I got down there on that Wednesday was just helping people try to get some sense of their personal life with them to carry on until they could get back to that. And they were so grateful, and there were so many people down there coming together in this time of need. It was very overwhelming. And it's the news and the media these days is just so overflowing with negativity, and everybody doing this, robbing this, people shooting each other, and they only want to focus on the bad because that's what sells papers, that's what sells media shares. They don't want to focus on the good that's being done, and it's sad because there's plenty of good out there to be done if you just take the opportunity to do it. And then, so I teamed up with a team down there called 3P Off-Road and Rescue, and they worked in conjunction with a group called the Cajun Navy. And throughout the next 3 or 4 days, I met a lot of humble people, a lot of people willing to help. And we went on several rescues as long as welfare checks and a lot of just trying to get people back to get some of their personal belongings. And when it was all said and done, I had been appointed to run a rescue team for the last 2 days I was there, and that was a great honor. And I had some good people working with me. And the 3P Off-Road Search and Rescue together as a whole, when we got done, we had a combined total of 3,140 confirmed rescues for the whole company that were operated down in Houston. And it was a great thing to be able to actually go down and do some good. It was an overwhelming sense of peace within when you know you're out helping somebody else. It's complete selflessness that just kind of guides you and really humbles you. I wasn't in it for anything for me, not for the money, nothing, not wanting anything from anybody else. And it's just that service to others that in your recovery and in your spiritual program that really makes a difference inside. And to that, I'm grateful today. And God's blessed me with yet another adventure in my life. And this time it led me down to help others that were in need. And for that, I'm grateful. Thank you.